They're printing your money into nothing, into pennies. They're printing your dollar into pennies. He goes into inflation rates and what it takes at 88%, or I'm sorry, 8% inflation, 7% inflation. I can't remember the exact figure that he gave, but he said his house, he has a mansion in Miami, I believe it is. And at one point it was worth $100,000 and now it is worth $10 million. So you're looking at an inflation rate in this period of 99%. And I can't remember what the exact year is, but if you have $100 in America, you fast forward, I think it's about 70 years, you've lost 99% of your wealth. And he laid out an example there. He laid out an example with his house. I mean, you could think about, well, a can of Coke used to cost 5 cents and now you can't even get it for, 65 cents at the gas station. And so we're seeing inflation. We're seeing what's happening with their dollar. And if someone said, hey, I'm going to give you a treasury and it's Zimbabwe dollars and you got to wait 10 years and then you'll get 8% more every year. Would you want that? Heck no. And so we're seeing the same thing with treasury bonds. We're seeing the same thing with these very, very low yield dated instruments. And they're trying to say, hey, this is a good investment for you. You put in $100, 10 years later, you got $127. Does it sound good yet? But inflation is much more than that. And he just breaks down example after example. You're losing all your money. It doesn't matter if it's, okay, in this country, you fast forward 9 years, you've lost 99% of your money. Doesn't matter if it's 70 years, 7 years, it should wake you up. It should wake up your relatives. It should wake up the whole world. They're printing your money into nothing, into pennies. They're printing your dollar into pennies. And so Bitcoin is the escape hatch. That is essentially his thesis. To me, sounds like a pretty good thesis that I like. 3 Arrows founder Suzu obtains Singapore restraining order against Arther Hayes over harassment. He's been tweeting at the founder of the collapsed crypto fund to return some $6 million. He says he's owed. This guy lied to everybody, said, steady lads, guys, I'm redeploying capital, then runs away with all the money. He's using customer funds to support his lavish lifestyle. Arther Hayes has lost $6 million and he's crying, hey, stop bullying me. Shut up, you loser. You stole money. Okay, suck it up. Suck it up. That's what happens when you pay the... Look, you got to pay the time if you're going to do the crime. That's just all it is to it, all right? Don't do something shady. How about that? And then we won't be tweeting at you. I'm sorry, we hurt your feelings. We hurt your feelings, Suzu. You stole his money. Give him his money. It's that simple. I'm bringing a lot of my issues because I, too, have lost money on some of these exchanges. Maybe you have lost money on some of these exchanges. It's not fun when you see them, they just spent $700 million on lawyer fees. Like, that's my money. That's my money. And that's how I feel. This is a declaration of memes. Why aren't people talking? What aren't people talking enough about? How in work, a 70, 80-year-old is generally regarded as unemployable due to mental decline skill mismatch, yet they're exclusively running the country. Thoughts, Tim?
Yeah. We talked about this a little bit on Investing Bros. Yeah, it's a nice thought to say, let's make a rule that you have to be under a certain age to be a politician. But unfortunately, not going to happen. Not going to happen. I don't even think the people that are over that age are really running the country. We all know there's someone behind pulling the strings of that puppet. So they're just the face man. But you would wonder, why would they choose such an old face? I don't know. This is the thought. The 3 were, we had what? We had the graph, we had
EOS and Phantom.
Phantom. All right. So Deezy, you are going to select You
Oh,
have
I
to
can only
choose.
assign one per one.
You have to choose one to hold.
All right. Well,
one to long, one to short.
I'm longing the graph. All right. So we're gonna start with the
Okay.
graph. So 3 coins, 1 to long, 1 to hold, 1 to short.
Yes.
I would long the graph. Why? Because it has a bull market narrative, and I'm gonna try to say this as nicely as possible. It has a bull crap buzz line that sounds good for idiots, and that is it's the Google of blockchain. That is a normie saying that can take off. And I'm not saying it isn't the Google of blockchain. That's not really a good description. I wouldn't say that's quite apt, but it sounds easy to say. It gives you an emotional response, and it's easy to visualize. Oh, it's just like the big thing that's like does search stuff. Okay, yeah, I can kind of wrap my head around that. It's essentially the reverse chain link. All right, so honestly, I'm leaning towards this, but let me look at this all-time chart before I make my final decision here. Okay. Okay, so I got it figured out. Okay, so the next one, all right, long is the most bullish. Then we got the middle of the road, and that's going to be hold. Hold for me would be phantom. Phantom, I wouldn't be dumping at this point right now. All right, and the reason is, and this is my old school thesis that is not smart. This isn't some like good correlation of success here. This is just a thought that I had that seems to make sense to me, and I'm more bullish on the next bull run for coins that had a second all-time high in October, November, December, and then with Bitcoin. So a lot of coins, their all-time high was with Bitcoin's first run-up in April of 2021. And then Bitcoin had a second run-up where it did a slightly higher high, went from 63 to 69K. A lot of altcoins didn't create a second all-time high. My thesis is it'll be harder to create a new all-time high with the next bull run. But if it did a new all-time high in October, November, then you know what? The trend suggests that the next one is coming. The trend is your friend. This one, and I'm not saying go short it. This is just of the three, my least favorite. And you can see right here, it put in a lower high the second bull run. Why would it all of a sudden be a higher high? Doesn't make much sense to me. I do think it will go up. I don't think, fast forward 2 years from now, the price is lower. No, it's probably like 3x, 4x. But I'm looking at a higher potential with these other coins. And let's just do some moon math real quick. All right. Right now, I think I'm gonna round up to $1, right? It's at 93 cents. This all-time high, let's just say it was 25. Next one, let's just say it was 15. So from 25 to 15 to probably about 10. And so you're looking at a 10x. What did I say for the graph, Tim?
What did you say, 20?
20x.
Yeah.
And so I'm just leaning, I'm saying I'm guessing close to a 20x. This one I'd be closer to a 5x to a 10x. And so to me, this is the one I am least a fan of. All right, that's my 2 cents there. All right, let's talk about Pepe. Everyone's talking about Pepe. I didn't get Pepe. I should have bought Pepe. I didn't buy Pepe. All right, Pepe coin price prediction as it becomes a top 10 most traded crypto in the world. Can it reach $1? No, it will not. Never. Never. Won't even hit a penny. You think it's hitting a penny?
Okay.
Trading with your entire portfolio. Do not ever trade with your entire portfolio, especially leverage trading, especially meme coin trading, especially risky NFTs. You want to trade with a small percentage of your portfolio, especially if you're a risky individual. There's people out there, they're doing 25x, they're doing 20x, and they act like it's normal. How do I know? Because I was that guy. It's not normal. It's not normal. If you're eating, sleeping, breathing the charts and you have tight stop losses, sure, it's probably a great means to an end. You're probably making really good money if you're following the right people or if you're doing just good TA yourself. But you got to avoid total ruination. That could mean, maybe doing something illegal. You don't want to do something where, oh, yeah, well, I end up, I was having a good time, but then I end up in county for 6 months and my whole life was ruined. Avoid things that are going to lead to total ruination. That's going to be leverage trading with your entire stack. It's going to be doing something that might put you behind bars. It's going to be doing something that might alter your health forever. Don't be that idiot that's jumping off a roof into the pool. Okay, you don't want to be the guy, the shingle slid, and then you fail on your heels. And you're, you're a meme. Don't be that guy. Don't be the cap cut on TikTok. Just avoid total ruination. You'll be fine. Be safe out there. Be Safu. Protect your capital.